The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now, your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrick Walker, and Kyle Yeomans.
It's a terrific Tuesday edition of Talkin Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys, as we enter into Week 17 of the NFL season. Flew by.
They did fly by.
How about that? We're already in the penultimate week of the season. Isaiah Stanback, Patrick No C. Walker, Chris Beam, Kyle Yeomans with you as always. Gentlemen, how we doing today?
Fantastic.
Better than a guy who got hit by Derwin James yesterday.
Ooh.
Golly.
Do you think that was a dirty hit?
No,
I don't think it was a dirty hit at all.
No, this league is getting so soft.
Yeah.
Like I really don't know how you play defense in this league. But that's coming from somebody who played offense.
No,
I don't know how you play defense in this league anymore because now you can't hit the quarterback low. You can't hit the quarterback high.
Nope.
If you hold on to the quarterback for longer than 2 seconds,
you're going to get a fine.
You're going to get a fine. If you hit anybody in the face at all, you're going to get a fine. Shoulder pads or not. Show me how you hit somebody with your shoulder pads without your helmet getting involved. And then
head's connected.
Come
to the
on,
shoulder.
man. And now you have to wait for the guy to catch the ball and turn around and see you before you hit him. Obviously, now this is trash.
Defenseless receiver.
Sorry, Kyle. I didn't say it with my chest.
Say it with your chest.
Yeah, I don't think it was dirty. It was brutal, but thus is the sport. No, it
wasn't dirty.
No, it wasn't.
He
dirty.
led with the crowd.
When I say brutal.
Yeah,
right. It was brutal. I didn't say it was brutally dirty. It was brutal.
When I hear brutal, I think about Harrison across the middle, like night, fold your whole body in half.
It was a night.
Yeah, I'm talking about Reggie Bush in the swing route like that.
It was a night.
It was a night.
And I don't believe it was illegal, but it was definitely a night hit.
Well, I will say the rule states you can't lead with the crown of the helmet and a defenseless receiver. So I understand what the ruling was. I just don't like the rule.
So how are you supposed to hit?
Well, see that
if I hit you on my shoulder, my
argument.
helmet's going to hit you.
That's the argument.
And if I hit with the side of my head, then I'm going to break my neck.
That's the argument.
So
he hit him with the helmet, but he hit him on the shoulder with the helmet. It wasn't like a head-to-head contact sort of deal.
But it is almost impossible to hit somebody with your shoulder and not your helmet.
Yeah.
Like literally almost impossible.
It's hard
because they're kind of like
connected there, Kyle. when I'm sitting with my shoulder pads on, my helmet is literally touching my shoulder pads unless I'm freaking, was it Hankins or whatever his name is?
Yeah.
Haskins. What was his name? What was his name?
You talking about Hankins?
No, he used to play for Mark. He used to play for San Francisco back in the day. Gooseneck. What was his name?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Beamer know who I'm talking about.
I know you're talking about tip of the tongue. But my bigger gripe is
defender?
Yeah, DB.
My bigger gripe is the roughing the passer nonsense. Like, seriously. And this is something that Haley Sutton and I, we had a conversation about last week. When you start to see games like the Cowboys unable to bring down Trevor Lawrence, and then that got me to thinking, obviously Trevor Lawrence is just difficult to bring down in and of itself, but at least 2 of those escapes, the Cowboys had him dead to rights, arms wrapped around him. And I don't want to say they let him go, but it makes you wonder in that moment if they thought to themselves, if I finish this sack, is it a 15-yard penalty?
Absolutely.
And am I in the doghouse? And maybe this is the one that loses the game.
Dallas has been a benefactor of that numerous times this year, especially over the past few weeks.
Spread that.
Merton Hanks.
That thought process over the course of 32 teams or 31 other teams. And now I wonder, there should be someone in the league office willing to do the research and the science on this to say, okay, well, here's the
science.
Here are the video clips. Here's the video evidence of how many times a quarterback was dead to rights and the defender released, for lack of a better way to put it, because of maybe they have concerns of an RTP penalty. And that should be used as a competition committee conversation to say we need to really do something about this because that is ruining the game.
Yeah. I said it when I was watching the film the other day with the play that I mentioned in yesterday's show where Dak is twisting and turning and he's still on his feet and he's throwing the pass. He had another one against Jacksonville where a defender bounced off of him. Both of those are sacks in 5 years
in
ago.
1995.
Not even 2017.
Fair enough.
That's a sack.
Fair enough.
But right now it's
escaped,
not.
Yeah, he escaped one. He legitimately
there's still
escaped one
there's
the other
still a
day.
thing.
The one against Jacksonville.
Yeah, the one
Yeah,
against
there's still a such thing as an escape. But then what I'm saying is there are the ones where you see
Let
the
go.
defender have him,
And then let go.
have the QB, and they're like, okay.
I don't wanna get fined.
I think this is enough, and then the QB is like, "Oh, thanks,"
Yeah.
and the play continues because no
trash,
whistle was blown. So if you're going to legislate the game in that fashion, then you need to be quicker on the whistle to prevent.
Agreed.
Didn't
those
Micah
types
have
of
one a
things.
couple weeks back where Micah grabbed the dude and just let him go?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's trash.
He would have 14
What about
sacks
the
right now.
one? Remember the one against the Chargers in the grass one that everybody
Last year.
last year,
Yeah.
remember?
Week 2.
Like he threw it for a first down, but they called him in the grass because Micah grabbed him.
Yeah. See, that
It's
needs to
different
be
now,
a case. That needs to be the rule because at this point, it's going to get quarterbacks hurt at some point because defenders are going to say, all right, well, if I can't just bounce off of them and it's a sack, then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to blow right through
Yeah, the
them.
thing is,
quarterbacks are going to end up
guys are
getting
getting fined. I understand that they're trying to protect the game, but guys are literally defenders specifically are getting fined for doing their job.
Yeah.
You're taking, and listen, this is not okay. I'm gonna pay it when I want to pay it. Like, no, I don't think people understand out there. You get a FedEx letter in your locker. They have already withdrawn the money out of your account. Like, your check, like your direct deposit, is less than what it would be
all you can
because
do is
they've already
appeal.
taken the money out. Now you can appeal, and you're appealing to the same people who gave you the freaking fine.
How many FedEx
After
letters did
taxes,
you
by
get?
the way.
I wasn't doing it.
You didn't get a
They were
fine?
giving out FedEx letters for guys wearing socks that were 2 inches too high. Like, they look for any reason to take money back out
and
your
the
pocket.
the Cowboys know well about the uniform fines, sleeves and
It's ridiculous.
socks and cleats.
Diggs got hit.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Sucks.
I want to ask Barry that question. How many fines did he rack up in the day? Because you were an offensive guy, so on the field it's a little easier
But
to avoid that type of stuff.
That 4-2 was cutting people in half.
He was flying by.
And these aren't like little fines. These are like $5,000, $10,000, $15,000.
Yeah. And escalate.
And
They're
that's
escalating.
It's not big money for Patrick, but
No
the rest,
C?
rest of us
Says no C?
common people.
Says who? Yeah. You're sitting at a panel with a
Patrick's
writer.
like, wait.
You're sitting at a panel with a writer and a former player. And the writer is the one who doesn't have concerns about what? Stop.
Oh, well, since you are our resident writer, you know what time it is.
It is time for news and notes.
It is time for news and notes.
What would Rob do? WWRD. Yesterday's injury report came out, and it was a walkthrough for both teams. Obviously, a very short week with the game happening on Thursday. Travel day is Wednesday for the Cowboys. Durant Armstrong was a full participant, as was Noah Brown, knee and a foot issue, respectively, but obviously full participant, no major concern. Zach Martin showed up on the injury report, but his knee issue is not a concern. He was a full participant as well. It just has to be documented by league rules. The biggest thing was, well, first of all, one of the biggest things, Sam Williams, clear concussion protocol.
Great.
He returned to practice in a limited capacity, but I spoke in great detail with Sam yesterday. He is in good spirits. He has some bruising on his face, probably from the collision and or the airbag deployment, but cleared, returned to practice, and he fully expects to be on the field on Thursday. So good news for Sam Williams, and as well as the other driver. Sam Williams was struck by another vehicle. His Corvette was absolutely mangled, but both drivers walked away with only minor injuries, so blessings there.
So, real quick on that. So that accident happened over by my apartment. I drive that way, that road, every day to work.
So if people want to look for you, that's where they can find you.
No, I mean, if they want to.
You trying to get people to
they can
take
try, but if they want to, then that's on them.
He's big money. He lives in Sam's apartment, apparently.
That's
Yeah,
not
big
the
money.
case.
That's what it is.
It
Big
didn't
money
happen
apartment.
in my apartment complex. No, not at all. So, but I got a call the other day from a friend of mine that lives in the same area, and he was saying, "Hey, I didn't know that this was his car when I saw it.
Yeah.
I just remember seeing a black Corvette, and it was torn up. And the pictures have since been released. It's all online now. I think somebody on
It's a mangled mess.
it was a serious car accident, and I know the intersection that it happened at. I've almost gotten in a wreck there too. It's a dangerous intersection. It's really not. People are coming 50 one way on a 2-lane road, People are coming 50 the one way, and then you have to cross over like 3 or 4 lanes of traffic because there's turning lanes. It's a mangled
Dallas
mess.
has plenty
really
of those. I don't know if that's a Texas thing, because I couldn't say
no light
applies
or
to
anything.
Houston or anything, but it's certainly a Dallas thing. There's several spots in the Dallas Metroplex that have that.
Oh my God!
But yeah,
So
glad
Sam
he's
Williams
okay,
is,
and just
wonderful.
the severity of that car accident was far greater than it was led on to be initially.
Yeah,
and
seriously.
we are so glad that he is good.
And for those who haven't seen any of the images, if you go to my Twitter at Voice of the Star, you'll see the conversation I had with Sam. I posted an image of the Corvette, and it's a mangled mess. The fact that he was able to walk away from that with only minor injury is both a blessing and just wonderful news. Wonderful
Driver's side too.
Yeah, and what an honorable guy.
got him.
What an honorable guy. You get struck. He was sideswiped by the other driver. He got out of his vehicle and then went to try to get the other driver out of her vehicle unsuccessfully because she was trapped. So the fire department had to come in and let her out. But just to have that kind of nobility to say, hey, you know, and in a state of shock. Obviously, you're also in a state of shock after you get knocked like that. So shout out to Sam Williams, just a good dude who deserves to still be here, and thankfully he is, and no major injury. So expect to see him on the field this Thursday, barring any setbacks in practice. Tony Pollard and Leighton Vander Esch, we're still waiting to see when LVE will return to the field. This is obviously a short week, so I lean toward it probably not happening quite yet with that pinched nerve in his shoulder. We'll see how it goes, but he was a DNP, which did not participate on Monday. Likely will be the same case on Tuesday. I don't expect to see him on Thursday, but we'll see how it goes. Tony Pollard, a lot of people were wondering because he popped up with a thigh issue as a did not participate DNP on Monday. Owner and general manager Jerry Jones spoke to 105.3 FM The Fan today, Tuesday morning, and basically said they are counting on Tony Pollard to be on the field on Thursday night. It's nothing serious.
Good.
That he, quote unquote, looks good. So that's good for Tony Pollard. That's the Cowboys injury report. As far as the Titans, let's just put it this way. Aaron Brewer participated in the walkthrough on Monday was limited with a calf injury, and nobody else did.
Oh, wow.
Quite literally,
DNP
all the way down.
So
all the way down.
And honestly,
I fired up the PS5 and had sent Brewer out there to run some offensive line drills.
Right.
PS5. Excel
Right, some
spreadsheet is
cone
dragging it all the way
drills.
down.
He's like, you, Brewer, go
click corner, drag down.
Brewer, go do the cone drills. Everybody else, just fire up the mat. And
all right, let's get some film room work.
Yeah.
All right. So,
They're waiting on our show.
yeah, they're waiting on hit sticks. That's what it is. So,
I asked Barry about his fines, by the way. You want to know?
Yeah,
oh, God,
absolutely.
what was it?
He said he got fined about 10 times. So totaling between
figures.
60 and 70K.
Oh, my God. That is a lot.
For doing your job.
Cash.
doing your job.
Yeah.
Thanks, Beamer, for doing that
Yeah, no
market
problem.
research for us.
Yeah.
That was nice. But 60 to 70K? That's unreal.
For hitting guys, and your job is to hit guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I agree.
Tough sledding.
How would you like to come home and your wife and be like, hey,
No,
babe,
thanks. Hey, I got hit again.
you got 30K taken out of my
12K,
paycheck.
15K.
So with the short week ahead, and I was going to ask this to Isaiah, who's scarfing down oatmeal as
Still
we
growing.
speak.
Still growing, he says.
So with the short week, and yes, you get an extra day because you played on Saturday. This team's a little banged up. I mean, when Patrick was talking about Tony Pollard there, the thigh issue that popped up, I'm not surprised because you go back and you watch that Philadelphia game.
Take a shot.
It was physical.
Oh, yeah.
He was beat up. Everybody was beat up. Zach Martin was beat up. Tyler Biotish was beat up. Even Dak Prescott a couple times. He was sacked 6 times, so he got a little beat up too. After a physical game like that, then you turn around and you have a short week. How tough is that as a player?
Super tough. You talk about a Saturday afternoon game all the way into the evening, and now you're turning around and traveling tomorrow and then playing on Thursday. Your body is just starting to be alleviated of being sore.
Oh, and don't forget, Sunday was Christmas. So there was
There's
nothing
no
being
break.
done.
There's no
So
break.
you got to delete Sunday completely.
Delete. Yeah, your body's still sore. So literally in warm-ups of that game, you're just starting to feel like yourself again. I'm putting this in this way. You know when you have a good workout, Kyle, you like to work out.
Yeah.
Okay, you go to the gym, you get a nice training session in, and when do you feel the most sore? 2 days, right?
2 days later, yeah.
Post 2 days, that's when you really feel it, okay? And then 2 days after that is usually when you start feeling like yourself again, right? The soreness is starting to wear off. So we're talking about post 4 days. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Your travel day is the day where you start feeling like
you start coming back down.
You start coming back down, like, all right, okay, man, it don't hurt as much as it did. And then guess
sit
what?
in this airplane seat.
Yeah, next thing you know, you're in the warm-up line.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're about to you're right back into that same cycle. So for those that can't relate, and that is how you relate, okay? It takes you 4 days for your body to typically recover just from a training session in the gym. Imagine how you talk about car accidents, right? Thank God Sam's okay, but that's essentially what guys are going through every down, right? Depending on your position group. You're literally getting ran into somebody at a high rate of speed with a lot of mass. Okay, and your body has to recover from that over a span of 4 days. The NFL didn't make this decision based upon the health and safety of players. They made it based upon the decision of their pockets. And guys just have to figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah, and
Isaiah's coming after the league today.
It's the truth. I'm not coming out. I'm speaking facts.
Yeah,
I agree, but it's
Pure
also
facts. Pure facts. Guys,
Pure facts.
If it was about health and safety, guys would not be playing 4 or 5 days after a game.
No.
So let's not just sprinkle any Salt Bay on it. That's not what it is. Guys are expected to get themselves ready to make this league some bread.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And you hope that your team can turn around physically and make it happen.
Yeah.
But it's literally a hope. The trainers, and that's why you're seeing so many walkthroughs and meetings.
Light practices all week long.
Yeah, practices because you physically can't do it.
Yeah.
Like literally when you're in those warm-up lines, you're just you're working that last little bit of soreness off right before you go out there and get hit by a grown man running, 20 miles per hour at you.
Yeah, it's rough. And that's why it's that much more important, or key, I should say, that the Cowboys came out fairly clean against the Eagles, and especially considering the injuries that they've had racking up over the past several weeks going into that. You come out, and the worst case scenario is, Tony Pollard has a little bit of a thigh issue that probably isn't as much of an issue at all. If you're the Cowboys, it's a win-win, because it's a win-win-win. Not only did you get the victory, but you got the victory against an NFC East opponent who happens to be atop the league and the division, and you came out clean.
Yeah.
No injuries.
So
you went into these
has
final
a thigh bruise, right?
It sounds like it's more of a thigh bruise.
You ever had cupping done?
Well, when you lay on your stomach and
They
they
put the little cups on? You had that done before?
I've seen it, but I haven't had it.
Okay.
done.
My sister has a machine, like she has the actual
It's definitely a
cupping
thing.
machine.
Yeah.
It's
It takes
definitely
about-
a thing. Yeah.
Depending on how, what part of the body, it takes about 4 or 5 days for those bruises to go away. Talking about cupping, that doesn't even hurt.
Yeah.
4 to 5 days for those bruises to go away. So now you're asking TP to turn around in 5 days.
And
And he will. But,
He will.
But what you're basically saying.
But I'm saying he will, right? Because
Yeah.
he's a freaking
Right.
warrior, right? He's
Right.
he's a freaking Jedi. So he's gonna do it.
And it'll probably be
May the force be
more of
with you.
a Zeke heavy game plan.
Thigh pads will be a
on
little
Thursday.
heavier this week.
Again, that's true. That as well. And it'll probably be a Zeke heavy running game as far as the Tennessee versus the Tennessee Titans. And the question is, and I'll segue this and toss it over to QB1 over there. We talked about this yesterday off the record, and it turns out that the Titans are in kind of a rare situation here. So now we're wondering if they're, are they going to rest Derrick Henry because they have an all-important, all-or-nothing game in Week 18 against the Jacksonville Jaguars? Like, what kind of state are the Titans going to be in mentally?
I don't see that coach
going
doing
against
that.
the Cowboys.
well,
They don't need this game.
I don't see that.
he talked about it yesterday. So I'm going to tell you what he said right after the break, because there could be that possibility, or you could take all of this and the bruising and the soreness, and you may be going right back up against the most physical tailback in the NFL at the moment, and that's Derrick Henry. When we come back with more Talking Cowboys.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is. It's a non-fungible token.
Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Are you ready to take coffee off your grocery list forever? Black Rifle Coffee Club is here to help. As a coffee club member, you'll get your favorite coffees roasted, packaged, and shipped to your door free of charge on your preferred schedule. Set it, forget it, and never run low on coffee again. Members also get exclusive deals on coffee, products, and discounts from partner brands. Ease your mind and let Black Rifle worry about your coffee supply. Go to blackriflecoffee.com to join the coffee club today.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, Dak Prescott is this year's Cowboys nominee for the 2022 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, presented by Nationwide, recognizing NFL players for outstanding community service off the field and excellence on the field. You can help Dak to earn a $25,000 donation to his Faith Fight Finish Foundation by voting on Twitter or retweet the hashtag WPMOY Challenge, followed by Dak Prescott, through January 8th. Go out and you can vote Dak. Welcome back into Talking Cowboys. It is a Talking Tuesday. And no, you did not miss an episode or two or three. We're previewing the Cowboys and the Titans because this is our final episode prior to game day on Thursday. We're going to have to do our picks remote. We're going to have to kind of send them in and put them out there.
Yeah.
Because it's later in the week.
Seems very fishy.
It's not fishy. It's so fishy.
The standings are very close, and now all of a sudden he wants to send it in remotely. Everybody.
We'll pick the Cowboys. I mean, do you want me to put it on Twitter? I'll put it on Twitter. Before the week starts, we'll put it on Twitter.
Okay,
but get your picks into Willie for me, would you please?
We'll pick the Cowboys game, but we're just not going to pick the rest of the games.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We'll pick the Cowboys game in a minute, but we don't have time to do all these other things. So earlier in the show, Patrick mentioned that there could be a possibility with the fact that this game does not matter mathematically for the Titans to make the playoffs. Of course, it does matter for the Cowboys. If they lose, then Philadelphia wins the division. The divisional hopes are still very slim, but also still alive. Mm-hmm. However, the Cowboys' opponent in the Tennessee Titans, whether they win or they lose, would still have to win a ball game in Week 18 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Winner of that game is going to the playoffs already. Woo! That's how it goes.
Yep.
So Jacksonville, Tennessee, that's a playoff game.
Who would you rather face in the playoffs, Kyle?
Tennessee. Right now, Tennessee. They've lost 5 straight. So the question...
We said the Jaguars have horses. They have horses. You saw what the horses did. They ran. So
yeah, they did.
Titans...
No, she was looking at me like, is that a real question?
Seriously, because the Titans also don't even have their QB1. Yeah, it's Malik Willis, and he's not playing well right now. It's just such
he is not playing
easy
well.
question. But
I'll take either one, guys. Because if we play them, it'd be the Super Bowl.
Boom! That was the right grab. That's the right answer.
Look at Beam coming in here hot.
There it is. Hey, Beamer, you see the trick question out there the other day?
They were
not on their toes.
You did not have that in mind.
Not on their Michael Jackson toes.
You did not.
Are you serious right now?
That was not your setup.
I will take any of those AFC opponents. That means we're in the Super Bowl.
Don't even try.
That was all.
Don't try and take credit.
You were picking up what I was putting down.
I got you, dog. I got you.
Beamer, we're not going to let him siphon some of your credit. That was all you.
Beamer, that was all you, big dog.
That was all you.
Stand back just threw out that question to poke the bear. He didn't realize. Now he's trying to
that question about playoffs if you're not going to face the
because you were throwing a shot about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That was a freaking softball. That was just John Stockton. He's Karl Malone.
No. No, that's not
mailman.
what
I'm Kobe. He's Shaq.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened at all.
If I keep eating.
He might be. He
I'm
might
Tony
be.
Parker. He's Tim Duncan.
No.
He might be Tim Duncan. You're like some dude that's in the G League.
Can I at least be Robert Horry?
No.
No.
All right. So after that little sidetrack, the conversation is whether or not the Titans will rest some of their key players in order to get ready and rested for that matchup against Jacksonville in Week 18. And head coach Mike Vrabel did talk about it. He said, I think we'll have to prepare this week and see where guys are on Wednesday and even Thursday before we ultimately make a decision and see who we feel could have a setback or who could need some time. Those we'll have to look at. So when asked that question, if you weren't going to rest players, the initial thought is, why are you even asking me the question? We're going to play football. I'm a football coach. We're a football organization. We're going to go out and play.
You play to win the game.
You play to win.
Until you think about the fact that this coach came from New England and he is a Belichick guy, which means that he says Belichick things. Belichick never shows his hand.
And he throws it one way.
Counterpoint.
Pops it
you're
the other way.
You're going to prepare to go against their starters anyway. So there's no gamesmanship to be had by saying, oh, well, we might rest some guys 100% guarantee, even if he said that directly.
Yeah.
None of the coaches in this building
They're
are
looking
like,
at Derrick Henry right now.
Yeah, let's start preparing for the second and third string guys. No, they're going to prepare for the alphas because if the alphas are playing, now you're ready. If the alphas are not playing and you've prepared for the alphas, well, then the betas become that much easier to
I
defeat.
get that, No C, but from his point, he's controlling the controllables.
I believe that it is a very real thing.
Yeah.
Going
So
into
you
this
don't
game,
you don't believe
this
that
is
comment.
gamesmanship. This ain't gamesmanship.
I don't
Nobody's
believe
not
that
going to prepare for Derrick Henry. Doesn't matter what Vrabel does or does not say. Everybody's going to prepare for Derrick Henry.
Can you stop Derrick Henry?
Yes, it can happen, but the likelihood of it is low.
If Derrick
there are
Henry
teams
plays,
that have stopped him.
If Derrick Henry plays, does Dallas defense shut him down?
What would you
They
classify
can.
as shutting him down?
Less than 100 yards.
Less than 100 yards.
It can happen. Yes.
No. I don't want. No, I need
prediction.
I need you to have your Scantron number 2 pencil out, circle it in all the way.
Yes.
Boom.
You know why?
right.
Yes. Because there's nothing on Malik Willis's arm.
Dang it.
That presents a threat enough for me to not stack the box heavily against Derrick Henry.
I mean, he still had 126 last week on 23 carries, so they stacked the box.
Listen,
and
and I
still got 126.
Who'd they play last week?
The Texans.
Okay. Yeah. So we comparing Texan defensive personnel now to okay, right.
How much did you run against the Texans? How much did the Cowboys run against?
Stand on what I said. The Texans personnel is not the Cowboys personnel.
No, I agree.
But I also say, because I want people to understand, please don't be the. I'm not going to name call. Please don't be don't be the individual that I have to that I have to embarrass because you take what I'm saying as no. See, you said Derrick Henry's a bum. Are you crazy? Every week we've said leading into this game, kind of previewing this game, that Derrick Henry is an animal. He's virtually unstoppable, but virtually isn't literally. There are games where Derrick Henry will have a bad game and he just will not basically get off the ball like you want. He will not run for 200 yards. He's not going to run for 150 every game. There are games where he just doesn't. And those games have occurred this season that he's run for less than 100 yards. So that tells me it can happen. So yes, it can happen and the Cowboys would have a chance and a better chance than if Tannehill was playing, because at least with Tannehill, you have to respect his arm to a degree. Malik Willis, we're not saying he's a bum, but he's showing that if you take the throw away from him, well, then all they got is Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
So it makes it exponentially less difficult. I won't say easier, but less difficult to contain Henry. So yeah, it's doable.
Now that Patrick has called everybody on the Titans a bum, let's move on. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm looking at this. You said there are games this year where it has happened, where
6 games
where he's been under 100 yards.
Yes.
He also has 8 games where he's been over 100 yards.
Yeah.
So there are more games where he's been over 100 yards than he has been under. So,
but nearly half, well, not nearly half.
7 games.
A large chunk of the season, what are we talking about? 82, 25, 85, 53, 87, 38. The Bengals held him to 38 on 17 carries. The Bengals did. And I'm kind of circling that because they have good personnel defensively. The Eagles held him to 30 yards?
Yeah, 11
30
carries.
30 yards on 11 carries, 2.73 yards per carry. Eagles have good personnel defensively. I say all that to say, if you look at what he did against the Texans, that's because the Texans have Texans personnel. If you look at what he was unable to do against the Eagles, good personnel, good scheme. Cincinnati Bengals, good defensive personnel, good scheme. Cowboys, good defensive personnel, good scheme. You would love to have a Hankins back in this game. You would love to have LVE in this game, but you're not going to. That's going to make it more difficult to stop Henry. But seeing the teams that he struggled to get off against, it gives me a good bit of optimism that it can be achieved, is what I'm saying.
I can't disregard the Texans. I mean, they ran for more yards against the Texans than Dallas did, so I can't disregard those guys.
No, it's true. Well, and you also go back to what they did in Week 8 against the Texans.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
It was
14.
32 for 219 and 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, there was some extra yards there, too. I will say it is possible.
Yes, that's
it's
what I'm
possible
saying.
you hold them under 100 yards.
Likely?
I don't
No.
I don't think
Possible?
it happens
Yes.
because I think that's all Tennessee has.
Out. No, see?
That's just
anything's
facts.
possible if you show up.
That's just facts.
Come on.
I think
That's just facts.
I think Henry gets 100 yards, but
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Because
I think he
that's
gets
all they
99.
got. That's all they got.
He gets
99.
99.9.
Oh,
Dude, if he gets 99, I'm gonna come in here on Monday.
Oh, God.
It's gonna be great.
So,
99.
over or under 100?
Over.
Over?
Under.
Yeah.
Under. I'm saying I gotta say
With the QB swap, I'm taking under. Just throw everything you got at him. Everything you got at him.
See, but that's all they've got. They're gonna gain yardage.
you can key
That's
in.
the NFL. It's gonna happen. Derrick Henry's going to be given the ball 25 times.
I was gonna say if they
and
give it
he's
to him
gonna-
30 times. You keep
He's
him
got
at
100 bucks or 100 easy.
Well, that's not fair. If you give Derrick Henry 30 touches,
That's what
30
they're gonna
carries
do.
specifically, then no, I'm taking it's over 100 at 30 carries.
How much is Leighton Vander Esch and Jonathan Hankins, that duo? How
Major.
much are they missed in this
Major.
game?
Yeah, that's
Major.
big.
These guys are physical. Everybody knows this is not a great football team. Okay, but
Hasn't been.
But the one thing that you know you're going to get out of them is physicality.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a variable way. Okay, you talk about the culture of the team. You talk about the culture of Dan Quinn's defense.
Blue collar.
Yeah, these guys they're physical. Right, they're going to come. They're going to hit you in the mouth. Even if they take the L, you're going to feel it after the game. Right, you're going to know that their presence was there. So, not having two of our most physical guys in terms of rushing defense in there is going to hurt. It's going to hurt, and that's still a sore spot for you. It's still a sore spot. So you're looking to see if the new fella can show up and make some plays in replacement of Hankins.
Anthony Rush.
Yep, you're looking to see can Rush stop the rush, and then you're looking at the second level. You can say, hey, Damone Clark, can you get off blocks of the from the offensive lineman?
That guy's flying.
Yeah, he's flying around.
See, I disagree.
But
I thought
getting off blocks, getting off blocks is something totally different.
This was a game where he looked like a rookie this past week. They
I
put
think
him
he
in
had
some
those
tough
moments.
situations. He looks like he's lost half the time, or at least in this game, he looked like
I
he
just
was
think
lost
getting
half
off
the
blocks,
time.
getting off blocks was a challenge from what I've seen on.
He flies around because he's super athletic.
Yeah.
Flies around.
But
when those guys get their hands
the
on you-
reads and the blocking, it's tough.
it's different.
It's tough for him right
So
now.
either way, at the second level, Barr's going to have to be very physical. It's going to be very interesting to see who they put at middle this week.
Well, and Quentin Bohanna also had a rough game because Philadelphia went at him too, and they went at him with a double team, and he couldn't necessarily handle it. I thought Osa Odigizua was very active early in the game. Golston was effective at different times. Even Neville Gallimore had 2 plays that I charted that I really liked. There were a couple of them that I didn't like, but you can't have that hit or miss because if you have leakage in your defensive line, Patrick, that's where Henry can squirt through.
Absolutely, and not to say that they're similar backs because they absolutely are not. But you look at Miles Sanders, for example, and I bring up Miles Sanders because the Cowboys did contain Miles Sanders to a great degree, even without Jonathan Hankins, even without LVE on the field. And that kind of forced the game on Gardner Minshew, and that's why Minshew ended up throwing 40 times because the way the game was going, back and forth, close game, it was not a game that the Eagles had to throw themselves back into or try to climb out of a hole. So the run game,
were leading.
Yeah, the run game should have continued to be effective for the Eagles throughout the entire game, but for the most part, it just was not. And then you look at the last 4 or 5 games of the Cowboys. Look at every game for the Cowboys, run defense-wise, after the Packers game. And the only game in which they failed to truly contain the running back, Travis Etienne, is the game they lost, and then they barely lost that game. But looking at the body of work post-Packers upset, this team has shown me that they can contain a running back and an elite running back because you talk about Saquon Barkley, you talk about Dalvin Cook, and, Etienne, they can contain an elite running back. Now, Derrick Henry is admittedly something different. He's something else. He is size, power, speed, and finesse all rolled into one. That is generational.
Smoking a pancake.
But what will work again in the Cowboys' favor is that Tannehill's arm is not under center. It's a rookie's arm in Malik Willis. My concern for going against Malik Willis is not his arm, it's his legs, right? So this is a situation where, you know what, this is a situation that if you're talking about being prepped to potentially play the Jalen Hurts version again of the Philadelphia Eagles, should you make a playoff run, well, Malik Willis, he's no Jalen Hurts, but hey, this is a 1-2 punch.
It's a similar build.
It's a similar scheme.
I agree with you on this. I like this.
Similar scheme. This is another game that can help you prepare to potentially face the Philadelphia Eagles down the road, because Malik Willis is not Jalen Hurts, but it's going to force you to scheme for a very mobile quarterback with a dynamic run game who has, as far as in tandem with Derrick Henry. And you don't necessarily have to worry about the pass. So I think it's a good.
So you're saying outside of Derrick Henry, the only person that you should be, the next person up that you should be concerned about are
the legs of Malik Willis. The legs
Would you agree with that,
of Malik Willis.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Not the arm, the
legs
of Malik Willis.
He's still got a long way to go. And we said this on the draft show. Good quarterback, good potential. However, still a long way to go in terms of his growth as a quarterback. As a runner, he's an NFL runner. He can take it, and he's as shifty and elusive as anybody behind center that you'll see. He's not Lamar Jackson to that extent, but he's not far off from as a runner standpoint wise. He just can't throw the ball right now, and he's got bad footwork. He's got bad technique. If he can learn how to throw the football a little bit, he may actually be one big time quarterback at some point in this league.
Won't be that on Thursday.
It won't be that Thursday. So I would agree with you. I think outside of Derrick Henry, Malik Willis is probably that number 2 threat, because they don't have anybody really on the outside. They really don't, that I'm scared of. But I do want to take our second break. When we come back, we'll take one final look at the Titans, talk about that defensive side of the football, what do they bring defensively, and then we'll make our picks for the Thursday Night Football matchup coming up in just a couple days. One more segment when we return here on Talkin Cowboys.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Black Rifle Coffee Company serves premium coffee to people who love America. When you drink Black Rifle coffee, you are directly supporting veterans, law enforcement, and first responders in your community. Black Rifle's expert roasters love coffee almost as much as Texas loves football, so it makes sense that America's Coffee partnered with America's team. Go online at blackriflecoffee.com and fuel up with the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. That's blackriflecoffee.com to fuel up today.
Lil Sweet! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Lil Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is. It's a non-fungible token.
Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, James Wright is your 2022 Cowboys Fan of the Year. James brings the spice to every Dallas Cowboys game, and now he needs you to help him bring it to the Super Bowl. Vote for James to be given the ultimate title of NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan, by casting your vote at NFL.com/Fan of the Year. Back here on the final segment of Talking Cowboys, Isaiah Stanback, Patrick Nosey Walker, Chris Beam. And just to kind of back into the conversation that we were having in our most recent segment, I tweeted this after the loss to Green Bay, which was kind of your wake-up call of another 200-yard game. And I tweeted out the upcoming schedule of running backs. Dalvin Cook, 72 yards allowed. Saquon Barkley, 39 yards and a touchdown.
Talk to him.
Jonathan Taylor, 82 yards allowed.
Talk to him.
Most of that was in the latter parts of the game, too. Damian Pierce, 72 yards allowed and a touchdown. Travis Etienne, 103. So that's the one that got over triple digits. The Eagles, I just tweeted them as a team because they all have running ability. 87 yards and a touchdown, but I will credit the fact that there was no Jalen Hurts there. And then Week 17, Derrick Henry, of course, a big question mark this week. So in terms of an individual rusher, they've done a good job of shutting down the big threat.
Talk to him.
They've done that. So can they do that against Derrick Henry? That's the biggest question and probably going to be what decides the game. Should Derrick Henry play in Week 17? Now, looking on the defensive side of the football, Isaiah, any threats there that they kind of bring to the table, any kind of challenge there that could push Dak Prescott in this offense that's kind of been rolling lately?
Unbothered.
Nothing?
I'm unbothered. I just... Yeah, I like their safety. Was it Byard? How you say him?
Yeah, I was going to say Kevin Byard. You got to put some respect on Byard.
I like Byard. I think
it's just Baird.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that. My apologies, but
either way, put some respect.
Put some respect on him. He's a really good player. Outside of him, I'm not threatened by anybody. I know they're going to hit you. They're going to hit you. They're going to play physical. They're going to give it all they have, but I don't see them matching up against Dallas's offense.
Jeffrey Simmons has been playing really well, the defensive end.
You got him, Danico Autry. I mean, they can get
your old friend Terrell Basham.
Terrell Basham, claimed by the Titans. He's with them.
He's here.
And Terrell Basham knows the Cowboys' offense. So
he's going to be pissed off either.
Yeah, you know that he's sharing some inside information there. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, I mean,
I wonder which tie he's going to go after.
Which tie? Tyler?
Old tie, new tie?
Probably both.
New
tie?
He
Yeah.
already knows what happens when he goes against old.
Yeah, that's good.
Get locked up.
Gets thrown out the club.
Jazzy Jeff style?
Yeah.
You get your hands on you, you're done.
Oh, yeah. Even at the right tackle spot. And he's getting more comfortable over there. The footwork is still a little suspect, but he's still tiring.
On you.
He's still tiring.
You're going to the locker room.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not walking there. He's throwing you there. I actually like the Titans defense. I think they have one or two guys that are dudes, and this again is me putting respect on Byard's name, if that's how you pronounce it. And then, the guys up front, because 8 sacks for one guy, 6.5 for another guy, 6 for another guy. They have a rotation of pass rushers that can apply pressure in different parts of your offensive line. Good news for the Cowboys is you do have a future Hall of Famer in Teron Smith over at right tackle, and Tyler Smith's going to get tested. It's going to be yet another game he gets tested. I had a fantastic game by my opinion last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. Hopefully he keeps that going overall. As far as the season goes, he's had his downs, but he's had more ups, and I love what I saw against Philadelphia. Connor McGovern continues to play solid ball. Tyler Biadasz played so well last week, he got a sticker.
Yeah, he did.
And I don't know about the other shows around the world that cover the Cowboys, but I can say that this season we have consistently given roses to Tyler B. So Tyler B, we expect that he continues to play well. Zach's going to do Zach things. I think the Cowboys front will acquit themselves pretty well against a very, very capable Titans defense. But neutralize that pass rush, and it's going to make it that much harder for a guy like Byard to make any plays or be of any measure of a factor in this game. So just stop, win it up front, and you won the game. It really, for this particular game, I know that seems cliche on a week-to-week basis because it's true on a week-to-week basis, but some teams are more schematically talented and more talented personnel-wise, so it's not as simple as simply winning in the trenches. You're going to have to win on the outside.
Yep.
With your receivers, you're going to have to win with your tight ends. I think this game is just as simple as your front five needs to beat the hell out of their front five, and you win the game.
And I think that can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this offensive line could have some success. This is the first time I've looked on the other side. Yeah, Simmons has had a really good year. And there are some guys across the board on this defense that are good together, but they don't just have that one guy on the opposite side.
They have try-hard guys. I mean, they have high effort. Bud Dupree, I mean, he's a high-effort guy. He's a motor. But over or under? Over 300 yards passing or under 300 yards passing? And over 150 yards rushing?
We're talking Cowboys offense.
Cowboys offense. Which one? Which one's more
likely?
More likely. Over 300 yards passing or over 150 yards rushing?
Over 150.
I would say over 150. I just wonder how much they're going to utilize Pollard with the thigh issue. Yeah. I don't think it's I'm not saying that in the aspect of it being a main concern, but in the aspect of if you know he's dealing with it and Zeke is completely healthy and you know that you have the luxury of leaning on Zeke, you lean on Zeke. So for me, does that mean Zeke gets 150 or like 130?
I think it's more likely that Dak throws.
Yeah, I think Dak throws.
You think they uncork it?
I think Dak throws for 300 plus.
Not by your suggestion. You don't want them to uncork it, but you think they will.
I think Dak throws 300. Lamb, Gallup, Hilton is going to be unleashed. I think Hilton gets unleashed.
I think they utilize this game to get
tight
the receivers' feet wet.
Yeah, I think this is a 300 yard.
I could see that as a thought process. I was really impressed with the way they stuck with the run.
Me too.
Against Philadelphia, because there were people, and I don't understand Cowboys Twitter sometimes. There were people on Cowboys Twitter that have
evergreen.
That we're talking about, we need to run the football consistently. And then down by 10 against Philadelphia, everybody on Cowboys Twitter, not everybody, but some people on Cowboys Twitter were saying, why are we running the ball? And I was like, they're running the ball to stay consistent. It's setting up the play action. And guess what? It worked.
Right.
It absolutely worked later in the game. So, I mean, the way that they were down by 10, still consistently giving it to Zeke, consistently giving it to Tony, when it wasn't the most run-heavy efficiency game from the ground game, they still got it done, and I liked that from Kellen Moore. I expect more of that against Tennessee. All right, with all that being said, though, who you got on Thursday Night Football? Cowboys, Titans, Amazon Prime Video, 7 o'clock kick, 7:15 kick. Who you got?
I think even with assume Derrick Henry plays. I'm going to make my prediction based on Derrick Henry playing, and then if he
let's say all starters play.
All starters play. All starters play. Cowboys are the better team. They've hopefully learned the lesson that they almost learned against the Texans, almost learned against the Colts, had to learn the hard way against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think they finish out the AFC South with a victory here. I think they go into Music City. Malik Willis might get one. Derrick Henry is going to get one. Couple field goals, so that's 20 points for the Titans.
Yeah.
But then Dak Prescott throws 30 times, gets 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Zeke gets 1, maybe 2, or a split with Tony. And here's another 40-burger. 40-20 Cowboys in Music City.
Another one.
42-17 Cowboys.
With all the starters involved.
42-17.
42-17.
We're right there.
I was thinking about 16 for Tennessee. I don't know if I'm going to go with the 40. I'm going to say 30-16 Dallas. I love Whataburger. I really do. I love 40 burgers, but
40 comes.
I don't think the 40 is going to happen this week.
And then the weather is not going to be frightful.
No, it'll be nice.
It's the 50s. So it's not one of those Nashville games where it's snow and ice and all of that.
Wait. I thought it was supposed to be icy.
No, I checked on yesterday.
No, it's supposed to be icy because.
Hold on, we're going to check again because I checked yesterday.
He doesn't get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because the Cowboys are wearing the all-white color rush with the white helmet, too.
Called it.
Oh, it looks so good. I can't wait to see it on the field.
That is frosty.
Oh, bro. Icy. It's going to look fantastic. All right.
That's Gucci Man and Jeezy.
That does it for us this week. This is kind of sad. I'm a little upset.
Yeah, I'm sad, too, Kyle.
Yeah. We'll be back on Friday without Isaiah. Jerk. What are you going to be doing? You're probably going to be serving. You're going to be helping out, spending time with family, doing some really, really productive things, right?
I am actually going to be spending time with family. I'm going to be spending time with my...
Get him, Beaver.
I'll be spending time with my blood.
Some UW-opoly?
Yeah, some UW-opoly. I got to go support my dogs are in town. The dogs are in town down there in San Antonio playing against some Longhorns.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The Longhorns is going to be...
Do you want to throw the horns down before we go?
I'm not going to do that that too. I'm not going to disrespect him like that. I'll wait until after this purple come through.
Just make sure you're watching the real game Saturday.
I know. At the same time, it sucks. So Dallas plays at 7:15. I'll be watching that for sure. And then my Huskies play at 8. I'll have it on my phone.
You and Derrick like bebopping down I-35 together in the same car, just kind of hanging out.
I'll have it on my phone, man.
And you guys have a bet night at the Roxbury.
Yeah, where's the bet?
Bet payoff? You gotta wear a Longhorns jersey, or
you talking about DE from up
yeah,
there? He don't want to even. Come on.
He hates bowl games.
Okay.
He actually he said it the other day. He hates bowl
Derrick?
games.
Yeah, he doesn't want to smoke.
Hear this, Derrick?
He just wants to smoke.
DE, you know what it is, man.
Derrick,
Derrick.
The cattle,
and we know you're listening.
Cattle
Derrick.
is scared of dogs.
And we know you're listening to the
Cattle
best podcast
is scared
in the building.
of dogs.
Derrick is the overly entitled Texas fan. That's like, I don't care about bowl games. I just want to win the big one. Like college football is college football. Cheer for your team.
Them dogs show up. They take care of business. You understand me?
We'll see how it goes. See, you're excited about it. That's a real college
Purple
football
and gold,
fan.
King's colors, man.
That's a real fan.
Not that tangerine.
All right, that's it for us here on Talking Cowboys. For Chris Beam, Isaiah Stanback, Patrick No-C Walker, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long. We'll see you on Friday with more Talking Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?